Hey guys, it's Tanya. How are you? And happy Monday. I am changing the format of this a little bit. So initially, I was doing the Lunchish Live show. I would go live on Facebook on every Monday, and it was at lunchish time because I have twin toddlers at home, and I just didn't know what time they would both would finally go down for a nap. So I didn't want to commit to a time because I didn't want to break that promise if I said I'm going live every Monday at a time and their nap schedule just didn't permit. Um, but it was working out for a while, like maybe a few months. And then it stopped working out. One of my babies just was not cooperating. And eventually the other baby started to follow suit. So Lunch's live show, I kind of had to do away with it. But I still want to connect with you guys. There was one particular show where one baby just wouldn't cooperate and she ended up being in the video. But I kind of felt like my attention was divided. And I wasn't sure if I was truly conveying the message that I wanted to talk about that week. So I said, well, things change. Sometimes things change. I'm a single mom of twin tots. And if anyone else out there is a single mom, you know that sometimes things don't go as planned. You got to improvise. So this is the improvisation. This is me not going live, but still coming and connecting with you guys. So I want to say thank you so much for hanging in there with me. And I promise you, I'm still coming every Monday. It just won't be live. But we can still connect. We can still chit chat. We can still talk. So this week, I actually want to talk about the hierarchy of single moms. So in case anyone didn't know, there's a single mom hierarchy. And I was listening to a podcast recently. And the host, her name is Aisha Taylor, she was talking about, she mentioned the hierarchy of single moms. And she mentioned it more in respect to the support that the single mom gets depending on where they fall in this hierarchy. Her actual topic was something a little bit different, but it tied into the support that single moms get. When she said it, I was like, oh yeah, hierarchy of single moms. Yeah, that's a thing. It's absolutely a thing. And I could relate because I was at the low end of that hierarchy 20 years ago. And I'm now at the higher end of that hierarchy right now. So just in case anyone is like, hierarchy of single moms. So we're talking about how a single mom is viewed based on how she became a single mom. So right now, I would be considered at the higher end of that hierarchy because I'm a single mom of twins because my significant other suddenly passed away. And the tragedy just makes people have more compassion and sympathy for me. So I do get a little more support and love than I did when I was at the lower end. So 20 years ago, I was a single mom of one son and I was 18 years old. So I was an unwed teenage mom. And I was just looked at more unfavorably just because of the situation and how I became a single mom. As much love and support wasn't poured into me back then because my status was seen as my own doing. This was my own choice. So that hierarchy, and then of course, there are other single moms that fall in the middle. So like divorcees fall into that hierarchy. If you're a single mom but not a teenage mom, you kind of fall in the middle. But it kind of falls in line of that hierarchy. So that high end is the widow, and that low end is kind of that teenage or that young single mom, the young unwed single mom. Now, the reason that this is a big deal is because, and I'll use my own personal experience. So as an 18-year-old single mom, I was a baby. I was young. I hadn't experienced much of life. I had so much to learn. There were things that I just plain didn't know. I mean, forget parenting. There were things about life that I just plain didn't know. But because I was, this teenage single mom and, I made this choice and I quote unquote ruined my life and Not a lot of love and support was poured into me. It was kind of like a, oh gosh, you ruined your life. Now what are you going to do? So what I was hearing was, you've already ruined your life. Now you got to figure out how you're going to muddle through. That's what was being poured into me. And it's not to say that no one ever loved me or ever supported me or ever did anything for me, but it was different. The support and the love that I got was different. It was almost like I was already counted out. Not only had I ruined my life, I had ruined the life of my unborn child, because they weren't going to have the same advantages and opportunities as a mother who waited to start her family and got married and did it the orthodox or the traditional way. So now, as a single mom of twins, through the death of my significant other, because we weren't married, but we were in a relationship, we were living together. So I'm kind of viewed, although we weren't married, I'm kind of viewed as the widow, and it was a tragedy. So I get way more love and support now, because this wasn't by my own doing. This wasn't a choice that I made. I became a single mom through some traumatic circumstance. So people kind of look at that like, oh my gosh, we have to help her. We have to be there for her. And what I can tell you is, I do need help. I need help and support right now. But the help and support that I need right now is totally different than what I would have needed 20 years ago. And a lot of the help and support that I'm getting right now is what would have helped me 20 years ago. So when we assign that hierarchy and we assign values to single moms based on how they became a single mom, it pours negativity into the single moms that are at the lower end of that hierarchy. And then it almost begs the question, which came first, the chicken or the egg? So did these young, unwed, single moms, just ruin their lives and we noticed it? Or did these unwed young single moms, did we tell them that they ruined their lives and then they just internalized it and they claimed it? When you're pouring that kind of negativity into anything, especially a young parent, you don't know how that's going to affect them. You don't know what that's going to mean for them. So now you have a mother who's 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, however old this young mother is, and you're telling her she ruined her life. She's going to struggle. She's going to, she's not going to be financially stable. She's not going to have the same opportunities. She could take that and say, oh, that's crazy. I'm going to be great. Or she could say, wow, I really have ruined my life. And then the rest of her life could be dictated by what was poured into her. The reason that I thought this was kind of important, one, because I help single moms to thrive confidently through their major life transition as a life coach. But when I was listening to the podcaster talking about that hierarchy, she and I both are single moms of twins. And her twins may be a year older than mine. So mine are a year and a half. So hers are 2-ish. And she talked about, so she's a single mom, not through a sudden death. Her relationship didn't work out. But when I listen to her, our challenges are the same. We have the same, financial struggles. We have the same struggles with going to the grocery store. So, because it just is what it is. How do you go to the grocery store and shop with 2 infants? Like, what do you get 2 carts? Do you try to put both car seats in the carts? What do? That's a legitimate issue. And we both had it. It didn't matter how we got to where we were. So as a single mother, it kind of doesn't matter how you got to where you were. The idea and the objective is to start making decisions going forward to make sure you're successful. We should want all mothers to be successful. When we look at an 18-year-old mother, we shouldn't say, oh God, you ruined your life. We should say, hey, you know what? This is going to be a challenge. How are we going to face this? How are we going to get through this? What's going to happen? Just like when you look at a widow and you say, oh wow, this is a challenge. You're loved, you're strong, you're resilient. We're going to get through this. We're going to help you. We're going to do it together. that's kind of what we need to pour into every single mom. We don't need for there to be any single mother out there that feels like the world has cast them aside, the world has wrote them off. Because as parents, regardless of what our circumstances are, we all need the help and the support. So I'm talking about single mothers, but I want you to think about this with anybody in your life. Anybody that's going through something, anybody that's going through a major transition. What are you pouring into them? And if they are doing something that you just plain can't support, then don't pour anything into them. Just leave them be. If you don't have anything positive, leave that cup empty, and there may be somebody that can fill it with something that they could use. But if you have anything positive that you can pour into the cup of someone who is struggling, go ahead and put that in, because that's what they really need. I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me today. My first book, Your Queendom Awaits, is now on Amazon for pre-sale. So please check that out. My author bio is in there, and the description of the book is in there. And the book basically talks about not just challenges and struggles, but how you can embrace them and use them to guide you towards success. So like I said, thank you again for hanging out with me. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.